So about a month ago, I asked on the ECZEMA Facebook group what kind of questions you would like me to ask Julia Edgley, homeopath and holistic practitioner, the lady who healed my TSW. And you guys came back with some really brilliant questions. And in this two-part series that we're going to do this week and next week launching, I addressed those questions that you guys asked. Now, I protected your privacy, so I did not mention your names and who asked what questions. But in the first part series, we really look at questions addressed about the shedding, the oozing, the weeping, how long it goes on for. We've answered the questions in terms of supplementation and also the questions about probiotics. So I really hope you've got pen to paper so that you can write some notes down. Otherwise, do feel free to rewatch these videos. And do not forget that we did a 4-part series earlier this summer with Julia as well. But please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up for this video if you find it of value, and leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear your feedback as to what you think about Julia's holistic practice, whether you think it could be something that could help you guys, and just general questions that you might have for her that I haven't already asked her in this series. Thank you so much for joining me again. So in this session, you guys, we're going to be doing a quick Q&A. I put up on the Facebook ECZEMA group questions to you all to ask if you guys would like to ask Julia anything, and I've come back, you guys have come back with a whole list of questions, so thank you so much for responding and giving us your comments and your questions. So we're going to delve down into it.
Because I'd imagine there's a lot of confusion.
There's a lot of confusion, and I think they're with a lot of the ECZEMA followers and a lot of the TSW warriors, they're doing it all alone. You know, they haven't got anybody there for them. They haven't got a medical practitioner or holistic practitioner such as yourself. Just to let you guys know, obviously you know that Julia healed and helped me, and I was her patient, and I religiously went to see Julia every single month, and even after I was healed, probably every other month still. I was still quite really engaged into Julia's program because I felt it was very, very important to stick with you and to have that motivation and to learn as much as I can about my condition, because obviously it's something that goes very, very, very far back in my life, to my childhood. So it was all about understanding, and you really helped put the whole puzzle and the picture together for me. So it was, you know, thank you so much. I'm just forever indebted.
You were honestly, you put the work in, because it's not, I put this up one time on Instagram, it's like, just because it's holistic and natural doesn't make it easy.
Yes.
It's not the easy thing to do, and that's why I like to, what I was saying to you is that I like to, I'll do the thinking because you have to put it into practice. Yes. So you need that support and that kind of cheerleader with you as well.
It's a support system, it's a counselling system.
Explanation. So you want, because once you understand, you're like, oh, I get how that's fitting into everything now.
Exactly. It's just like you're putting that puzzle together. And I think a lot of these TSW warriors out there, you guys, you need some sort of support mechanism. So wherever you are in the world, and down again in the description below, I've put Julia's details and how you can have an online consultation, because you do online consultations.
I do,
So first question we've got here is about the shedding, the flakiness, the constant cycle, and it's just perpetual, you know, and I do remember this myself, you know, you sort of wake up and you kind of got to vacuum your whole bed and change your sheets.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's, you know, you sort of have the weeping, the bleeding, which is obviously from the scratching, but that flakiness, it's like your face is just sort of falling off, as it were, and you get to, how long do you think that stage sort of lasts for?
Well, it's kind of a stage everyone has to, you have to go through the other end, and as long as the patient is not uncomfortable, it's more aesthetic. I'm like, listen, as we're working with the internal, with the gut, your nutrition, stress, that will sort itself out.
Okay.
I know we were talking about no moisture treatment. It depends on the patient, it depends on why they went on steroids in the first place. What was, if it was genetic, if it was in childhood, your skin function is impaired, so the ability to hold on to moisture is impaired, so that's where I would say in those cases you actually do need some support in terms of creams. What you need to do though is you need to patch test within the age of your life on everything that you try. I actually recommend more at the ankle rather than anything. And so the flakiness, they will, I think it's generally between 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months.
That it will eventually go. I also am a big believer in apple cider vinegar baths. That will help change the pH of the skin, so that will improve the skin's function, the skin barrier. We're looking at very specific ingredients in certain creams, such as ceramides. I know that has that's having its moment at this moment. And what's the other thing I want to do is nutrition, calcium.
Yes.
Now,
why calcium?
It helps skin barrier.
It helps rebuild the skin barrier.
Yeah, calcium mixed with B vitamins and everything. So it all has to, like you said, it's the puzzle. All has to click into place at the same time.
Okay.
A lot of fat.
Right.
You need a lot of fat in your diet.
So omega-3, 6.
You know my favourite sources.
Yes. Sardines.
I don't like sardines. You need to get over that and just like the sardines.
Eat your sardines and your seed and your salad.
Exactly. Eat these. Drink hydration. A lot of people's like, well, if I say hydration, I'll drink a load of water. So if I drink water, that's putting pressure on your kidneys. You need to. Staying hydrated is different to being able to maintain hydration in your body. That's to do with minerals.
Right, okay.
So that's why a very good mineral balanced diet is important.
Okay.
And flakiness. Also look at what clothes you're wearing.
Right.
And synthetic fibres can have, if you're sweating loads with them, we're just talking about synthetic fibres, you can sweat loads, that can have an impact on the skin as well, the skin barrier.
Okay.
So a lot of natural fibre clothes.
Okay.
So go shopping.
Nice, loose, airy.
Yeah.
You said you like linen, I remember.
Especially down here for the
heat.
Linen's
Bamboo,
really good. Silk,
Bamboo.
if you can, silk pillowcases, cotton.
Silk pillowcases. I have to say, when you recommended silk pillowcases to me, that really just like, I was like, ding, 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 ding.
And it changes your hair, it changes the the scalp, around the neck, everything.
Yeah, for my neck, which is like my biggest trouble zone. Yeah. Even to this day, I do manage my neck.
That's your weak point.
And it's my weak point. And it's very weird because I never had eczema here. And then here I have the last reminiscences of everything. But when I have the silk pillowcase, it just keeps cool the whole time. It regulates my temperature. It helps really
a lot better.
Yeah, as soon as I switched to silk pillowcases, everything, because most of my condition was my face and neck. Yeah. It just really helped that thermoregulation.
Talk about the weeping. The weeping is something that you want to get. I would, if you do the apple cider vinegar baths, you're going to think that it's going to sting. You need such little apple cider vinegar. I think everyone's put like half a bottle in. Like you should hardly smell the vinegar.
Okay.
And because weeping can potentially lead to infection. We're going to be talking about that in a minute, because that's what you need to avoid. You need to avoid any type of infection.
Okay.
So that's why you need to have that really sorted.
So half a cup of apple cider vinegar?
Half a cup of apple cider vinegar, a warm bath.
A warm bath.
Shouldn't be hot, because we don't want that inflammation.
No.
Especially if you're early days and you're quite acute.
Yes.
You want everything to be very calm, very stable. So not too hot, just warm, not too cold. Apple cider vinegar is very important, especially if you are living in a country that has hard water. So if the scales in your kettle, that's an indication that you have hard water. That is going to impact the itch of your skin. I remember was it yourself or another patient was doing bicarb.
No, it was me.
Was that you? That changes the pH, especially down here, too much, because your skin is supposed to be slightly acidic.
That's a really good point, actually, because that's something I really learned from you, is that my skin was way too alkaline. Yeah. And apple cider vinegar helped balance out.
And that can take the edge off the itch.
Yes.
Just that little, it just takes the edge. I'm not saying it's going to cure you, but I'm saying it's just take the edge. Yeah. All we want to do is manage all your symptoms while you're doing the internal work.
Yes. And I remember you once told me to make a little spray bottle, especially for the summer, with rose water and a couple of teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, and it was like one little droplet of peppermint oil or something, and then just use that as a spray to cool you down. Yeah, which I still have in the car today.
Oh, do you? And that's a good thing actually if you're sweating a lot, because initially because think about when you're flaky. What was the word? Flaky and scaly. It's like your skin is very vulnerable. Yes. So you want to make sure that the sweat doesn't have, like when it will trigger the itch very easily. And when you're triggering the itch, you're scratching it, you're opening the skin. Right. You're disrupting the skin barrier. You're releasing histamine. So that's why you want to manage that quite quickly. Okay. But it should be, give it a few months if you're at that stage. Okay. And potentially consider finding the right cream for you.
Right, okay, yeah, finding the right cream.
The right cream.
What are your top sort of favourites that you like? Because that you would sort of say, because I know with hygiene products you would say no sodium lauryl sulfate.
I actually tell people you only use soap in the areas that you want to use soap in. Everything else is just water.
Yeah, and I said I only shower when I wash my hair now. Otherwise I sink wash and that's it. The essentials and that's it.
Keep yourself clean, but you don't, because you're going into a hot shower. Everyone knows this, even if you're doing my acne patients, I'm like, don't wash your face with hot water. It has to be warm water but not hot. Yeah. Because that is disturbing the skin barrier. Right. That is creating inflammation. Okay. So and because there's things called transdermal evaporation basically is when your hydration just evaporates off your skin.
Okay.
So if you're getting your skin too wet too often,
yes,
that's happening. So you're losing hydration in the skin.
Yeah.
So few times a week is all you need.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So reduce your showers and your baths.
Yeah. Reduce harsh chemicals, especially if you're flaking and you're scaly.
Yeah. So no SLSs, no sodium lauryl sulfates.
It's ALS as well.
ALS. What's the A?
Ammonium.
Ammonium. Okay. So no ammonium lauryl sulfate.
Yeah.
Apple cider vinegar.
Yes.
When you do take a bath.
Or even test the pH of your water. If you want to test this, you can get a pH stick from the pharmacy and you can put it in the water.
And see what the level is.
Exactly. See if your water is too alkaline.
Ah, brilliant.
And you might even want to change that water as well, put a filter if you're drinking it.
Okay. Because I know you're a big fan of like Dr. Bronner's for hydration for lotion.
I like because it's very thin. It's very liquidy. Again, depends on the patient. Some patients they absolutely love it. Some patients it was a bit stingy for them.
Okay.
To be honest with you, with the creams, I go what the patient likes.
You like what they like?
Yeah, because usually the patients I would see that like I found my cream. I'm like, okay, then we stick with that.
Okay, because for me it's Skin Food that you introduced me to.
Yeah, Welda
Skin Food. The light, not the thick.
No.
The light. Yeah. I like everything very light, and then I like my Avene. I like a nice light Avene.
Yeah. You like, and then it's the lotion rather than the cream.
That's I don't like.
Maybe that's what we need to say. Yeah. Get a lotion texture, not
something
a creamy
light.
texture.
Yeah, light but more and apply frequently rather than a thick layer. Because I think a thick layer has made me much more irritated.
No, you don't want thick. You want light. You want lotions.
Light lotions. It's going to penetrate.
Exactly.
Yeah, brilliant.
And there's a few more. There's two more marks over the years. Only now that you said to me, one is Holo's.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact name of their product, but they have got a great reputation. And Barefoot Botancials SOS cream.
Okay.
They're the two that have good reputations. The reason I'm not with, although I work a lot with clean beauty and making sure that more for internal workings, when you have a skin issue, you go what the patient feels comfortable with.
Okay, great. So in terms of skin barrier repair, really just go with what you like.
Yeah, and your work comes from the inside.
Your work comes from your diet, and
exactly.
And then supplements. What do you think? Best supplements.
So the best supplements, you have to take the whole case. You have to know the triggers of the patient. Okay. So you have to know if stress is the trigger. You have to know if it's a specific food. You have to know if it's a gut imbalance.
Yeah.
They might have a virus in the body. They might have a fungus in the body. So it all depends on that.
Okay.
The basic ones is omega-3. A very good cold water omega-3.
Okay.
If you don't want any heavy metals, they want to make it with small fish like sardines, mackerel, krill, that type of thing.
I like the Solgar Alaskan.
Oh, do you like that one?
I like that one. Yeah, the Solgar Alaskan, and I'll put these in the description below for you guys as well. All the products that you might find useful. But I like the Alaskan Solgar one. Which has got the very high fish oils. I like those because you only have to take 2. Because a lot of these you have to take like 6 of these or 4 of these.
Yeah, and even I'm like, you know what? You don't need to have to redo that. We kind of
because you can just have like one if you're not too chronic.
But the omegas are like bullets.
They're like bullets.
Huge. Yeah. So when I have to treat kids, I'm like, oh god, we're going to have to get this into a smoothie.
That's it. Yeah.
We're going to have to hide this.
Yeah, let's puncture it and put it inside.
Yeah. Definitely, I would say omegas, vitamin E. You want a good vitamin. There's only one vitamin E that I've found that doesn't have soya. It's not derived from soya. A lot of vitamins derived from soya.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan. My stomach hates soya, so that's more of a personal thing.
And that's another thing that maybe we should all be avoiding is soya because of the high GMOs, is it? Or is it?
It's to do with, it can be an inflammatory food. It's one of the things that you always tested for. You always make sure that you test it for if you're allergic to. It's how it's prepared in the West. It is not fermented. If it's fermented soya, it's a completely different kettle of fish. Okay. So it's one of those things that's like, out of caution, avoid it. Usually in chocolate. Yes. I think that's where a lot of people, they say, oh, I don't have soya, I don't have tofu, I don't have soya yogurt. It's chocolate. It's an emulsifier.
Yes, it is, isn't it? It's always on the ingredients list.
Yeah. So you need to find
soy lotions or whatever they call it. Yeah. Right. Yes, of course. Yeah. No, I do see soy, and I even see it on the back of crisps sometimes. Yeah. They put them in, what you consider to be healthy crisps, and then actually they've got soy lecithin in it or...
And I think it's one of those foods when your inflammation is reduced, is under control, the inflammation pathways is what I call it, is under control. You can cheat with it. It's not the end of the world. Right. But when you're in inflammation. Yes. And so sometimes if you're like scaly and flaky, you might actually be in inflammation. You just need to get the right nutrition for it to support the skin. Okay. But when you're in inflammation, when you have the redness, when you have the burning, when you have the it's waking you up at night, you're in the inflammation zone.
Yes. You're systemic, because you used to say to me, you're systemic, right now.
Your whole body's inflamed.
Your whole body's inflamed, your whole body's out of whack. Yeah. You really need to completely change your lifestyle, everything from diet, to, you know, supplementation to rest and.
That sometimes when I have patients come in, not sometimes, often, I can see the stress.
Right.
I can see it off the gate. I know exactly. I can see what the stress is. I know what's going on. However, the patient is so overwhelmed with the skin and everything. If I say, I need you to change this and this, change your job, change whatever. It's inappropriate for me to say that. So what I'm doing, my
and they can't process, because I remember I couldn't process.
Oh no.
I could only process maybe an eighth of what you were saying to me. You know? And that's so just write down what I need to buy and get
some
to
patients
do.
record it.
And they're
of course, like I'm not going to remember this.
That's true.
But what I do is almost like. And I always say that my patients know it's like I'm a youngest child, so I can manipulate a situation. So I'm like, right, if I can get the diet sorted and if I can get the supplements, then the inflammation is calmed down, the nervous system is calmed down, the parasympathetic nervous system is under control. I can only then start to talk to the patient about stress, because everything's just calmed down, everything's dialed down, so then they can start to see what I'm saying, and they also have the strength. You've been through this, the strength to say, okay, I can actually do something about this. Whereas if you're so tired from the beginning, you're in pain, you're uncomfortable, you're not seeing a way out, and then I tell you, it's not going to happen. Like even me telling you to change your clothes. If you feel like, oh my god, I have to do that, you don't have to do it straight away. Just do the main bits first.
I get you.
So in terms of supplements, so make sure there's no soy in them. If you're going to choose supplements, make sure that's again, even like your skincare products, with a very reduced list. You don't want loads of bulking agents. B vitamins are huge. There's only 2 B vitamin brands that I really like. It's Thorne and Varidian. Really supports the nervous system, supports hormones, is a cofactor for histamine elimination. You want to have vitamin D, and I would get a vitamin D with a calcium in it.
Vitamin D with a calcium in it. Okay.
And then also when you're taking calcium, you have to balance it out with magnesium. So usually you get a calcium, magnesium, vitamin D together.
Yes, I've got one of those.
So that's why it was quite interesting for you, when you know the ingredients you look for, you don't actually look for a skin support remedy. You can get them, try and get them grouped together. The only problem with supplements that are grouped together is a dosage might be what you need. But so I got you a bone support remedy.
But
I had everything you needed for the skin.
That's right. Well, I actually did a video on the supplements that I took, which were all recommended by Julia. So I'll put that video in the link below as well, so you can go check that out. But also, what about probiotics? Because this is something that a lot of warriors take. But I know with yourself and the discussions we had in a lot of our rendezvous and meetings is that you know, I had to go on a very specific probiotic.
So basically a lot of, especially in your case, histamine was an issue. And I actually was known for treating histamine intolerance before you came along, so that's why I recognised it straight away. Not necessarily everybody with TSW or eczema would have histamine intolerance, but it's going to have a role to play in there somewhere. And certain bacteria will have an influence on histamine levels in the intestines. So when I have a patient who is in systemic, inflamed, I'm like, we're removing them now. Because histamine for probiotics to take, not histamine, for probiotics to take, you have to have really good stomach acid, you have to be not too stressed, you have to have the pathways very quite in line for it to reculture, what I say. So you eventually go on the probiotics, but not in the beginning. So they are completely taking away, we're controlling it with food, because you remember your gut flora profile will adapt to the foods you're eating. So when you're eating, I'm actually doing a walk to work on this. When you are eating, why do you have to change your diet for so long? Because it's giving your time for your gut flora to adapt to the food you're eating, to rebalance. So you can do that with herbs, you can do it with the diet. There is one brand, there actually might be more now, because histamine intolerance is kind of gaining popularity and more practitioners are able to treat it. So I think there might be more probiotics specifically for histamine issues. And basically just remove the bacteria from that. And so I think it was towards the end of the Bowel Nosode program for you that we were allowed to put in. I use a thing called the Bowel Nosode program.
Please tell us about Bowel Nosode.
This is purely homeopathy. So Bowel Nosodes, which I, being a homeopath, I'm very proud to say, I think they were the precursor to probiotics. It was a homeopath over 100 years ago, and he noticed certain gut bacteria in certain pathologies. So he isolated them and made a homeopathic remedy out of them. So the Bowel Nosode program, the aim of it is to give you these gut flora back in potency, but with the support of what we call tissue salts, or like homeopathic supplements, cell salts, and all of that is to rebalance your intestines. Now it's a long period, it's 8 months treatment. Sometimes you have to repeat certain stages of it, sometimes you have to repeat the whole stage afterwards. And I use that as another option for my patients instead.
Because I went on Bowel Nosode after I healed.
Yeah.
Now, after I took my initial healing, as it were. And I loved that Bowel Nosode.
You saw
program.
that was a huge change.
It was brilliant. I mean, I literally just got I had healed my skin, but it was still very, very sensitive.
Yeah.
You know, I could have reverted back at any moment. But I think that Bowel Nosode just really it just took my body onto a whole new level of being normal again and having energy again.
And you could be more adapted. So if you could have, for example, a birthday party was coming up, you could have a few things, and you didn't oh my god, I'm going to react in 2 days.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's quite hard to take. I had a patient like, have you ever done this? I'm like, no, I've never done this. So I tried to do it myself.
Yeah.
It's so like you have to really put in stuff in your phone.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, I put people through this.
I had a calendar, and it was like, okay, so A, B, and then C, and then C, 8 days, and then that D. And
I'm going to be like Memento, I'm going to have it like tattooed all over my body. But I am doing it just because everyone can do it. It all supports the gut function. We know how important that is.
Yeah.
And so it's an alternative to probiotics.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed Bowel Nosode, and I think I would recommend it.
I have a few patients were coming up to that. Like you said, we get everything managed.
Yeah.
We get the lifestyle changes.
Yes.
Your patients, you're feeling a bit more in control, and then we do the Bowel Nosode.
That's it, yeah. Because even after healing your initial TSW, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to maintain your skin, and so that you don't have reoccurring flares, or you end up back in TSW again. Which I see that a lot on as well amongst our warriors. Is that some of them get to a certain stage of healing and they think they're healed, and then you know a month later they're back to where they started again, or halfway back to where they started. And
I'd say how, from a practitioner's point of view, what you're doing. So you've treated the TSW. That is, like we said in one of the videos, I can't remember which one. So you've healed the consequence of the medication.
Yes.
You then have to address why you needed the medication in the first place. And that's the journey after healing the TSW, is actually making sure that it doesn't, like you said, you don't slip back in.